What is up, guys? I'm gonna make a video really quick talking about how I determine buy points on trading, and in this case, it's Bitcoin with cryptocurrency. Um, so it's a pretty basic video. This is kind of for more beginners, not taking in consideration too many aspects. It's more based off of basic price levels, which in truthfulness, it's the most efficient way to trade without thinking too much about it, and it's the most passive way to trade, but still being a trader. So we're going to go into the four buy points that I picked right now with Bitcoin where it's at. And so I'm going to give you kind of insight about why I picked these points. So let's look at the first one. The first one is at $5,024. The reason I picked this point is you can see here, this is where it's kind of been bouncing on the chart. Let's back up a little bit. Yeah, so I picked this point because this is kind of a good medium point where it's going to be bouncing. But odds are, you can tell by the way it's bouncing, it's going to get filled probably with the next bounce, and it's very possible it can go lower. So with this first bounce point, hypothetically, if you had $1,000, I would put a $50 buy-in right here because you're only risking 5% of your money. It's probably going to get filled. You know, it could go up a little bit higher. If it does, cool, you're in the money, sure. It's not very much money, but it's probably the most likely buy point. And then let's move to the next one. And so this is exponentially getting higher and higher with your buying quantities. So the next buy point that I would pick is $4,970. That's because if you look here, it kind of catches with these low points over here. I think it was the previous day on the 11th of April. It catches these lower wicks that were bouncing here, and old support becomes new support, and so it would odds are bounce pretty heavily there. And with that, I would put a $100, maybe $150 buy point right there. With my list, I have it done for $100. So I would definitely buy there for about $100. And then the reason I have it kind of light though, I would put more money there, but the reason I have it light is because just below that at $4,944 right here, I have another buy point for $350. And the reason being is it catches this wick back here on the 11th of April again, but that's the lowest wick of the 11th of April. And then it's kind of a good medium, and it's close enough to 5 grand where that's a good whole number. And whole numbers tend to be bounce points, resistance, or support points with any sort of equity that you're trading. And so they're close enough that I'm willing to put a pretty heavy, I mean, total, if you add that 3,500 up, that's, 45% of your $1,000. This is odds are a really good spot to buy in. And I pick right here because odds are if there's enough support, it won't come all the way down to this low wick right here. If there's enough support, you definitely want to get filled. You always want to place your orders slightly higher than what you think the lowest point would be, because odds are, I mean, you may not get filled. Anyways, so that's my third buy point. Let's go look at my last buy point and most important, but this buy point probably won't be hit. That's why it's so much lower. You can see here, this is the hour chart. If you zoom in here, this is at $4,801. So I picked this point because you can see here there was some old resistance, but old resistance becomes new support, as we've said. And here's an old wick that came down here back on the 3rd of April that bounced really hard. I mean, that's a huge wick for the 1 hour chart. It bounced again here, and so odds are if it comes back down, we're going to get a bounce for sure here. And so I'm willing to bet $500 on that point right there. Now, odds are it won't come there anytime soon. Who knows? It could, but if it does overnight, if there's a freak out, that will be the bounce point. Even if there's bad news, that will be a bounce point. It may, come back down to it again, maybe in an hour, and then crash through and go back down to, who knows, 4 grand. But that's for sure a good bounce point where you could probably sell for some profit when it bounces there. So, yeah, we're at 4 minutes in this video, so let me go write some of that down. So I said for the first bounce point, $50. I like that one, but you're probably going to get filled. Odds are at that $50, and then it's going to go lower. So 100 for the second one, and then I believe we said 350 for the next one, because I feel pretty sure about that bounce point, and it's close enough to the price action that it's going to be a good trade. And then I said for the second one, I think it was $500, and I just explained the reasoning for that one. So yeah, that's kind of how I determine them. If you can, try to check them pretty regularly and create stop limit orders for them so you can protect yourself in the market just in case something crazy happens so you can get out in time. But yeah, you just keep an eye on them, and if they get filled and the price action goes up, then sell and, continue on. I hope you guys like this trade, or I hope you like this video. Bye.